Has there been a day where it has worked?
Not me.
Yeah.
For the chat.
No.
Aura. Not Aura. Reach.
How does he just keep having? Stop looking at this.
So true.
Say true.
I just have like lost on stuff. Like you make me well, not
I
literally.
wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like you ran away.
Why do you think my immune system is so good?
There we go. Did we finish last day? We did safety. Did you write the safety map? I don't think you did that. So we have 2 safety things left to do.
It's $50. What were you berserking? You should just buy yourself. Or just read it online. All the chapters are online for free.
Well, then how it is. That was the other option, right? Then instead of changing the dessert.
How many classes yesterday? How many classes?
Cool, I mean, like, computer science, I got math, I would try coding, and social analytics, science analytics.
I have math. He's never wearing his hair up like this.
Really?
Oh.
He looks less like
Did he shave his beard?
Bro, this band.
yeah, the same social studies class. Really?
Are you though? Are you really? Science 10.
Zane, what's Chappie about?
I didn't get it.
Artificial. Also, it's like and then this kind of scientist, he secretly injects, like, he downloads this.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's not gonna work. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That and those sides have 1, 2, 3. So interesting.
Don't listen to it. It actually sounds good.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What? Nonsense. Okay.
Yeah, I do know.
I will have to fix that for later. Never mind. Okay. If you could take anything off your desk except for a pencil and an eraser, it's time for your safety quiz. Safety quiz.
You know I won't. I have a district and not you know what district and
Yeah, I would give it maybe like an 8.
Now for this quiz, if you see something on there you're supposed to identify, and then you think, I don't know where that is, when you were in the lab, if you were doing a lab, you would be in the lab and you would just look. So during this quiz, you're allowed to get up and go into the lab and look. There we go. You can get it right now if you do go with them, yeah.
Just a small question, because it's saying the nearest fire alarm,
Nearest fire alarm.
depending where you are, it's different.
But you're right here.
Right here?
Right here.
Okay, so it's just there.
I can't tell you. Yeah.
I like how everybody gets up and leaves. Hang on to put your name on it, flip it upside down. I'll take them all in just a moment. Keep it, turn it over. When you're done the quiz, turn it over so I know how many people are done. And just hang on. When you're done, put your name on it, flip it upside down. Yes. Quick while everybody is doing stuff would be perfect.
What's an apron?
Apron.
Yeah, apron.
Oh, you have to find it.
No, but I don't know the color.
We we did it during safety.
Okay.
It's something used to protect your whole body.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.
You're saying that from there, all the fire exit don't fire exit doors have to open outward? For buildings, don't fire exit doors have to open outwards that way that if there's a crowd, you can still open up the door?
I missed the first part of your question.
Well, you were saying that like if you're in the lab, all these doors that you can come through here.
Yeah.
It's a fire exit.
Yeah.
All these doors, but for a fire exit door, don't we have to for building doors?
I'm pretty.
Fire exit, they have to open.
I think you're confusing building codes for an official fire exit door and what to do in a fire. If you're in a fire, the nearest door is your fire exit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those doors on the outside open outwards, but these doors, when there's no fire, the lab is the most dangerous place. And how they hung the doors in a temporary building, yeah, because this is getting destroyed this year. Next year, you're going to be in the brand new building. Yeah. Originally, they had the doors locking so that you could get into the lab anytime you wanted to, but you couldn't get out. I had to go tell them to reverse all of that. Okay, is there anybody still ready? You're still ready? Okay. People are still ready in the quiz?
What do you mean by, like, do you mean like people? Or like things?
Yeah.
Oh, so this one's people. You were like under like names, like missed.
I can't tell you during the quiz. That's not it. Where'd it go?
Okay, is everybody done? One more?
Actually, while we're finishing up. What's my schedule? Quickly do attendance. Timmy?
Yeah.
Ben?
Yep.
Jonathan?
Yep.
Ariel? Zoe? Lisa? Felix? Zane?
Yep.
Matthew?
Here.
William?
Yeah.
Alejandra? Birdie? Zachary?
Here.
Kieran? William? Naomi? Hugo?
Here.
Zahir?
Yeah.
Excellent. We're all here. Anybody whose name I did not call? Excellent. Done? Good. Take your papers, exchange them with someone next to you so you do not have the same paper. Okay. Where's the nearest fire alarm? Outside to the left. So anything outside the door to the left. In terms of what's their proficiency in writing down that answer? I went through this with one of my other classes because they just said, someone wrote down, go forward to the left. So obviously it should include going out the actual door, into the hallway, and to the left before the fire exit. For a full and complete extending high. If you know what they mean, that's probably at least a proficient low. Describe the exit route in case of fire and other hazards. Out the door to the left, and now you include out the fire exit. Yeah, a visual aid can be fantastic. Yeah. If you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what that means, that's even better. You don't need to correct the person next to you if you've switched it. Just allow them to mark. You'll get to see yours at the end. They're right next to you. Yes.
Is it okay for a woman to just said
Next to the room W210 could be in there. It could be in there. It could be in that room. So it's, I guess they know what it means because we kind of know. But also, do they know? So I mean, more like developing. Yep.
Wait, so do we check it or like write like the actual like extending?
Write a little extending, developing, proficient. This also gets you used to the whole grading system we use here, which I love. We're being recorded. It is amazing.
So you mark like with P.
Yep, yep. Oh, that's the other thing I love about our system is that you can have proficient and developing. Up there. My P's look identical to my D's.
Well, this actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to be very careful. Where do you assemble for roll call?
Outside
the fire exit.
No.
Like on the
Yes? Field. And it's Gillespie Field. Let's all take a moment and pause. Hand over heart for Simon.
No, he's dead. This is Simon. Oh.
Simon Gillespie. We once had Davin Killy, as in the Killy Theater in Privet as well. List sources of first aid other than the classroom teacher. Now, this was the clue a couple asked. I gave you a hint. It's other than the classroom teacher. The first aid kit is not correct because that's not a source of first aid. You can go and yell at the first aid kit all day long. It's not going to give you any first aid. You would provide yourself first aid with the first aid kit. So one of the possible answers is yourself. Hands up if you have first aid training. There was more people last day. Pardon? Any first aid training, put up your hand. Like any first aid. There. If you wrote down any of their names, you could have written other classroom teachers, Ms. Stewart, the lab technician, who knows way more about the lab than I do. Any one of those. So it has to be a person. Oh, let's not mock each other for their grades. At least emerging is not submerging. We actually came up with a whole new grade. Over the summer, they made not yet emerging official. No, they started using it ad hoc last year. It's now programmed into it properly. It wasn't programmed into it properly.
Is that like a 40%?
I don't know what percent it is, But whatever it is, I think it's way too high. I don't think you can really fail. I think you can get, I think it's like 40%. So if you get like one proficient and then not yet emerging for the rest of the year, you'll probably pass with 50%. Don't worry about passing. Worry about doing well. Okay, all the different things. Ooh, hold it. This would be a good time for me to use my person picker. I have an app that randomly picks people. And I use it so that I don't, one of the things initial on teaching I worry about is personal biases. So maybe I don't pick on people because I don't ask them questions because, you know, I don't like people with blonde hair or something. Or maybe I have a preference. If you are in university, what side of the room should you sit on? From your perspective, the right or the left? Left. You should sit left front. Because that's, if you don't know anything about the teacher, odds are they're right-handed, and that's where their attention's going to go. And so you're more likely to be paid attention to, asked questions, and observed if you're in the front right. And that statistically increases your grades. Back left is terrible. Apparently you're all failing, so I'm sorry about that. But right there, perfect. There's a bit of a blind spot over there. That's not too bad. That's like second best. Up at the front, obviously, is better, and then you get worse as you go back. So there's a lot of hidden biases. Male versus female bias, who knows what I have. So I use an app, and I just press a button, and I go, random. And it says, Matthew Hillhouse.
Oh, that's great.
Matthew, where are the aprons on this map?
The aprons are just like about a centimeter up from 205, or W205 to the left.
There you go. And then you get a point. Currently, Matthew's winning with 1 point. Yeah, well done, well done. I like how you clapped for yourself. Well done. It's Class Dojo. It's used by kindergarten teachers. Yeah. I like it because it just allows me to pick someone randomly. It's basically what I use it for.
Can we get a bag of jelly beans at the end of the year?
Is that what your old teacher did?
Yeah.
You just said that. You made that up. But also, if you're away, let's say you're away for rowing for like 2 weeks, and I notice that your average number of points is down. I haven't been asking you questions. That means I can notice that and just ask you a bunch upon your return so you get caught up and you get the same amount of attention. Yeah. So let's do that again. Ben, where are the fire extinguishers?
Fire extinguishers. Oh. They're like, you see like W202?
Yep.
Like to the left.
Yep, there's some right there. And then where else are there?
Like they're beside W205.
There we go. So we've done that one. We need the fume hood. Let's go with, oh, no. We have a tide. Zachary. Where's the fume hood?
The little green thing next to the lab office in the front room.
There we go. And Kieran, where is the fire blanket?
It's like in front of W202 and in front of W205.
And there's one more.
Oh, and then next to W204.
There we go. Safety goggles. Zane.
Kind of in the middle of that desk in between W204 and W202.
So here.
Yeah.
There we go. Eye wash station, emergency shower. Timmy. Eye wash station. Yeah, right there. Excellent. First aid kit, K. Alejandra.
The table that is in front of 205.
205.
No, that one is.
That one?
No, the other one.
Ah, perfect. Done. Now, I would like you to give them an overall proficiency. And then give it back to the owner. I love the negotiations because you're next to each other.
Yeah, no, I give you a perfect How do you
It's chaos. Chaos because people have to give proficiencies.
If I can get your attention again. See? You don't need to just give a proficiency, and then once you have yours back, I want you to correct it. And when it's all correct, give yourself an extending high, because you can't not know safety. Fix it.
You checked on everything.
And where did you go wrong?
I don't know.
Because it's right beside you.
No, but here's the thing. I thought that it was based on.
I mean, I guess I might not have had one.
Because like everything was right. Obviously, everything should be right. But it's how
What
well
do you mean you need more detail in your answer?
more detail on the Yeah, that's. But other than that,
Once it's corrected, put it in your binder.
Do we
And
have
then pull it from my paper.
How do you call it? What is
I have one of those things.
Is it not a hole punch?
First side training. First side training.
What?
First side
Well, it's very specific.
I got two.
Every third grade.
I got two right off to the right.
Okay, put it away and get out line paper.
Because one of them is so terrible. Like, what's important is that where's the ace?
Oh, actually, before that, hold your attention for 1 second. The line paper out is fine, but the other thing I would like to do is the seating plan. If you go into the Google Classroom, you open it up, you'll see a spot for your name. This is the front desk. This is where I am sitting, so it will be from your perspective rotated, because it's supposed to be from the substitute's perspective if they're looking at it so they can tell who's who. Go through. This is the front row, so you would be right here. And then put yourself in it as you go along. I will make it so that you can edit it. Science handbook C, you are going to be an editor. Phonetic, if you're worried that I'm going to, I think I've been okay with everybody's name, but if I've been getting it wrong, you can always put it in. I've already asked you for your pronouns, so I'm going to put those in afterwards, but if you want to enter them in so that I don't have to transpose it, that would be great. This is for your sub. Also for me, if I'm going to imagine.
Is this how
Pardon? If you want to change it. Whoa! Who added a whole extra row? Don't add an extra row. There's 3 on that side, 4 on this side.
There's too many rows for this one.
There are only 1, 2, 3 rows, so there is.
Oh yeah, wait. So
Where's Lisa? Should be there. You're actually, there we go. Actually, you're there. There's only 1, 2, 3. There. I should get rid of those.
Why are you on mine?
That's not how you pronounce my name.
So we got Jonathan, Hugo, Zachary. There you go. There you go. You found it. Matthew, then Zane, Kieran, Will. Will, did you almost put Willie?
What?
And then,
Yeah, so
whoa.
you would be like Matt.
And then William and Felix. Good. Zoe, Julian, excellent. Lisa.
Oh, slash name.
Oh, I love some of the phonetics.
Why is my name sounded as same?
Okay. Once you're done, please put your laptop away. Because now we get to the serious part, which is the signing of the safety contract.
My parents are involved.
This is going, yeah, this is a contract.
We sign or
Contract you sign. I'll actually talk about that. As soon as everybody's laptops are away, once your names are in, put them away, put them in your bag, get rid of them, you won't need them. No laptop, put it. I like the bottom of the desk because like you train that some students will like lift their laptop like 2 inches so they can watch a tiny movie while they're writing notes. Put it away once you're done. No, this is a safety contract. This is acknowledging essentially that you have now been trained in safety. You will print your name at the top. And I want you to think about before you sign it, because you do not have to sign it. It is in no way required in either this school or the province of British Columbia that you sign this contract. It is in fact not even technically legally binding. I mean, you can't buy a house or sign a mortgage. You're underage. But what it shows is that you actually were here, you acknowledge that you were present, we trained you, and judges in Canada aren't silly. They'd be like, yeah, okay, maybe it's not legally binding, but at least this shows that the school made a good faith effort to tell everybody not to stick poison in their eyes. If, in fact, in the future you decide to stick poison in your eye. But if you choose not to sign it, it's not mandatory. You just can't take Science 10, which means you won't graduate. Because it's so hard and end up on, I don't know, East Hastings somewhere. And terrible quality. So, not mandatory, but if you don't take it, you can't take this class. So no, because it's your choice whether or not you want to go to the school.
So if we don't sign this, we'll just be like thrown on the streets.
Yeah, essentially.
Cool.
Your parents will disown you. Yeah. So I'm going to read the whole thing so you know what you're signing. I don't like those iTunes contracts or any of those where it pops out. There's like a billion pages you have to read, and then you just click OK, having read none of it. You should actually know what it is you're signing. And then you print your name and your grade, agree to, follow all instructions given by the teacher. Now, in the law in Canada and in most countries, I cannot give you an illegal instruction. So if I say, hey, you said you do everything I said, I want you to go kill Mr. Snow. Like, you don't have to, not required. However, if I said tap dance, and it was vitally important for the safety of this class that you tap dance and you didn't do it immediately, you are now in trouble. Because that's not illegal. I can't imagine a circumstance in which tap dancing was, but there could be. I may ask you to do all sorts of strange things for safety. Some of you are already going to be wearing 2 glasses, which is weird enough. Protect my eyes, face, hands, and body when involved in science experiments. Clean up my work area completely. Make it a point to know where to get help quickly. Learn the location of the first aid kit, eye wash station, fire blanket, and fire extinguisher. Conduct myself in a responsible manner at all times. I've instructed the safety emergency techniques needed for my science class. I understand and agree to follow the lab safety regulations set forth above. I am aware that my safety and the safety of my classmates depends on my behavior in the labs. With this in mind, I will closely follow the oral and written instructions provided by my teacher and or the school administration. Please do not hand it back. I will come and collect it from you in person. I have to check that your name is on the top. And contrary to popular belief, if you sign something like Bugs Bunny at the bottom, it is still legally binding. Because you signed it. Doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't really matter, but I think Mr. prefers pen. Because then it doesn't rub off quite the way pencil does.
We should write our last name, right?
First and last name and grade. You do not have to put in every single one of your middle names. If you're like one of my children that has 11 middle names.
Actually, it's starting.
What's a date?
And it's like the jersey with the year. 2028.
Unless you want to put down all your middle names. If you have
Okay,
middle
you're
names.
usually like 2023. If I sound
Bro, I can't remember things like that.
Did I give you too many here? I deeply apologize.
Mr. Newfield, what's the name there?
I don't know. 12, because yesterday was 9/11.
That's true. You read about it? Remember, you knew when it's
Oh, no, since you did.
With the seal of disciples, or we signing.
We have to write
Okay.
down.
Are you done?
From September 12th.
Just like after writing.
Yeah, that's lovely. Pardon?
You have to like write your name at the bottom, or you have to do
You have to do your signature, your legal signature. That is just, if it's just writing your name, it's just be writing your name. If it's your family, actually, you're stamps.
I'll show you mine.
Same, same. Don't interfere with the signs. I'll be right there. I like to do them one full row at a time.
No, you're just not good. I'm not binding it.
No, I have to fight for the person.
Yeah.
There. Are you done? We good?
Oh, yeah. I'm practicing my signature.
It's just any signature. Pass.
I should never figure out this date, but
My signature is September 12th. Now you're in the what?
I'm in a bad record label deal. I'm in a bad contract. Guys, I probably signed. I didn't look at the fine print.
It's not looking fine, don't worry about it.
No, it's just evidence. We're using the trial.
Basically, that's what you try.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's
Yeah.
and also we sign a more extensive waiver, parents do, which is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a bit tricky. Your parents can't make a mortgage on your behalf. Like, you're still a minor even if your parents sign your behalf. Your parents sign it for them.
What's he signed that next year?
They acknowledge that there are these dangers.
Can't technically guardians sign on your behalf.
Yeah. But it's, what I mean is, they're signing from their perspective that they're taking care of you. And they can send in some things for you, but for legally binding contracts, like mortgage contracts, they can't sign for you because you can't buy a house.
You got something.
You're too young. You're still a minor.
But then again, isn't every transaction you make with money?
Oh, paying cash, yeah. A mortgage, paying cash requires
Yeah, but then
no cost. Just exchange of title. So it's not the same kind of thing.
We technically can pay cash a house.
Maybe. I believe you can still own things. You might require a parental guardian. I know someone who emancipated themselves. That's how it works.
So what if I take out a loan?
Okay, I'm not, these are not side too much.
So like, but the part where I have to pay it back, I signed that when I was a minor, so the we have to pay it back as a non-legally binding contract. In which case,
Okay,
then would I have to
actually,
pay?
his grades on the Bible. Who said that?
I'd probably have to fight that.
Why?
We can't buy a house.
You can't listen to using the gym anymore.
No, I went.
You can't listen to using the gym anymore.
They went 2 years after that.
We have cookie breaks, you go down.
Go on.
and get-
This coffee break is like 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Because we have advisor meetings with
Not today, no, only on Mondays.
No, we have to.
So,
Yeah, tutorial is.
today's 50 minutes?
Oh,
Okay.
this is tutorial right now? Yeah. Talking, we don't have to.
Not
No, we can tutorial, man, it's just if we actually everyday matter.
And the only stuff I have like, no, it's not. It's academic. Oh my god, this is academic.
That's like an overview of
No, this is like one tiny part of the
Oh, bro, I'm living in a really trash gym.
Really regretting.
I can't believe this shit.
There's a lot of work.
Like, what kind of even planet is
Oh, where did? There it is. That one to go away. That one to go away. And where is it? That one? What? No.
That's what he said in
Okay, you've got your package in front of you. Pen or pencil out. We'll do a little bit of notes. Get us started on chemistry. We'll be doing chemistry, then biology, and then physics. You're going to get more than one packet. So we're just start off. This is probably a little bit of review. What is chemistry? The study of. The atom is close. A little. I want more general than that. Yeah.
chemicals and reactions.
Chemicals and again, too broad. I mean, it's right, but too broad. Energy is one of them. And what's the other thing? Yeah. Matter. And this is why chemistry is actually the only science that exists. There is no other science. Biology is the study of living matter. The things that we say that when this carbon, the hydrogen, and the nitrogen get together, we call that biology or a zebra. That's just chemistry. It's biochemistry. Physics is the study of easy chemistry. We just take a rock and we like chuck it. It doesn't even undergo a chemical change, and we calculate its trajectory. That's a physical change in chemistry. It's super easy to do. If you get down to the subatomic level, well, you're doing subatomic chemistry and quantum chemistry. If you're at the stellar level at astronomy and you're looking at stars, you're doing stellar chemistry and how the atoms and protons and everything react together to create fusion. There is no single field of study that you can think of that isn't actually chemistry. Physicists like to say, well, we study the fundamental laws of the universe. Yeah, the fundamental laws of the universe and how they act on energy and matter. So you're just a theoretical chemist or you're studying easy chemistry if it's like ballistics. Yes?
Energy have matter, so is it just matter?
Energy does not have matter. Energy is a state of matter, so matter can have different energy levels.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then would it still just be matter? Just more or less?
You could make this even simpler and say chemistry is a study of matter. Yeah, you could. Yeah. That'd be even better. What is matter? Oh, hold it. What am I doing? No. If I'm not doing hands, I forgot. Got to do the random. This is William. William, where are you, William?
Which one?
Cazores.
Matter
Yeah.
is like things on a periodic table.
It is things in the periodic table. That is true. How could you tell if you had something, an alien species came up and said, "Is this matter?" How would you know?
If it exists, it's matter.
If it exists, love exists.
If it has action.
If it's physical.
If it's, what do physical things have?
Mass?
They have mass. And there's one other thing that they have. They do have atoms, but if you can't count them, that you can't tell. They have mass. It is explained in an old joke. Which weighs more? A kilogram of lead or a kilogram of feathers? Right. But what would be different about them?
The space they...
The map.
The space they take up. What's that space called?
Density?
Density relates both of them together. Density is mass over volume. I was in Chemistry 12. We did a brief review in this exact same thing last year, and Chemistry 11. One of the students said, "Wait a minute, no, the lead would be heavier." And it took the class 5 minutes to convince them that a kilogram of lead and a kilogram of feathers actually weigh the same amount. So he was one of that day's lucky 10,000. Now people have mentioned atoms a lot. There's about 100 building blocks. I say about 100. There's a few more, but if you notice some of them are in brackets, that means they're so radioactive and break down so quickly they don't exist really in nature. As soon as you make it in a particle accelerator, it just falls apart. So they don't really do much. We don't really care about them. There's one in the middle of the periodic table called technetium that was predicted in properties and then made artificially. There it is, in brackets. This is known as the zone of stability. If you take a graph and you start mapping out number of protons and number of neutrons, you'll notice at first you've got a proton and no neutron. So that's hydrogen right there. But then they're about the same, right? Beryllium there has four protons and roughly 5 neutrons. And so they start off going like this, but, oh, hold it. I've got P and P. This is supposed to be N. That's not makes sense. But pretty soon, you end up having, it goes like this, because you end up needing more and more neutrons to hold the atoms together, and then it cuts off. And after this, they're all unstable. There is predicted to be another zone of stability up here around in the 400 to 500 count. No force that we know of in the universe, whether a sun has exploded or not, can make those. If we manage to make those in a lab and can get the forces required, we can make an element that would never before been seen in the entire universe. However, it's only predicted. We haven't been able to do that. Maybe somebody clever will solve that. But most atom combinations don't work except for very specific ones, and there might be some more we haven't encountered. What is an element? Yeah, exactly. Pardon? Something on the periodic table is a very practical answer. If I have something like platinum or oxygen, I have something that's a pure substance. It's on the periodic table. I can't break it down. That is the stuff. What? You can't read my writing? Lies, I tell you. I will have the computer read my writing, and then you'll feel embarrassed because a computer can do something. Nice. Yeah.
How did we like define it? An atom cause we discovered quarks, so that's inside.
Nope.
But quick question, can't you split an atom so you can break
Nope.
it apart? What do you mean you can't split?
You can't. Not in this class.
Isn't that
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, notice I had to weasel out of it at the end here by saying by chemical means. An atom is something you can't break apart by just doing a chemical experiment. You have to hit it really hard with another atom, put it in a particle accelerator, and then absolutely wallop it. And yeah, then we can undergo fission and fusion. But
What about a nuclear bomb? Isn't that
nuclear bomb are ones that are naturally breaking apart. Again, not a chemical means, that's a nuclear means. They're just simply unstable by the amount of neutrons or protons. You can make them, again, get your atom, shoot a neutron at it really, really fast, or another proton, make it an unstable atom, and it will start falling apart.
Yeah, but quick question, you said that all the sciences are just part of chemistry
They are.
one way or another. So then isn't physics what you do to split the atom apart by
No,
breaking it
no,
up?
it's nuclear chemistry. Are they not studying matter, protons, neutrons, and electrons?
Yeah, but then isn't it?
Physics is what we call it when they're doing easy chemistry. Biology is what we call it when they're doing living chemistry. Geology is what we call chemistry when they're doing planetary chemistry. English is what we call it when you want to write about chemistry. Art is what we call it is when you want to play with chemicals and move it around with your hands and brushes. Everything's chemistry. Yeah.
Yeah, but then isn't everything a chemistry in one way or another? In
Yeah.
which case then when you break down an atom, it's by one way or another.
You can't break down an atom by a chemical process. You need a nuclear process. So you need to hit it in some way. Now, we can do that artificially with particle accelerators. Essentially, we're hitting it with a very small but very fast hammer. And then we can break them apart. Or we can find them where they're breaking apart naturally. That's part of the study of nuclear chemistry. We won't do very much of that in this class. We're going to focus on chemical reactions that mostly involve just electrons moving around. Yeah, but everything is matter. I was at the local fair. It happens at the end of August, right before school starts here. And this nice, very nice lady was selling her fresh vegetables. And she had a big sign up that said that it contained no chemicals. To which I asked if they contained dihydrogen monoxide, at which point my wife hushed me and told me to go away because she had very nice zucchini and she just wanted to buy some without me being an idiot. Example. Sorry. I keep putting this down and I need to give people some points. Naomi, give me an example of an element. Hydrogen. Hydrogen's a good one. First element, lonely element. It's by itself. It's in a family of one. Ariel, second element. Lithium. And if we were to make their symbols, what's the symbol for hydrogen? As a general question, everybody. H. And what's the symbol for lithium? Excellent. You all know how to read the periodic table. By the way, it's Li. Uppercase, lowercase. It's not Li. That would actually be something weird in iodine. And it's not like lowercase and I. It has to be uppercase and lowercase. Water is also a pure substance. And apparently I can't spell. Why am I writing in red? Is it an element? Why not? What can we break down water to? Hydrogen. Oxygen. Yeah. And then we can light them on fire. I'm going to show you hydrogen, probably not today. We'll get to that in another day. The old elements, earth, air, water, fire, they worked. Like as a system, it was reasonable. They would call sulfur, they would say, have some of fire and some of earth. Fire, if you've heard of fire and brimstone, brimstone is essentially sulfur. and it will light on fire, and so it has an earthy quality and has a fire quality. And that system worked reasonably well for predicting some types of reactions. But of course, they're not actually elements. Someone eventually noticed that you can break water down into two other elements. Therefore, it can't be a fundamental element. Sulfur is a fundamental element, but it is just one of many. And so it's not actually not made of fire and earth, and is not made of two parts. And they used to have a fifth. Does anybody know what the earth, air, fire, and water? And there was a fifth one too that's often forgotten about in fantasy books and movies. Does anybody know what the fifth one is? The ether or the spirit. Depending on the series when you read it, the ether, when it was a practical, like medieval sort of system, that was the medium in which light moved. And that was, even after we discovered the elements, that was still believed for a while, because light is a wave. You need a medium for a wave to move into. You can't have for example, you can't have a wave without water. Like, you take away the water, the wave is gone. So there must be something for light to move into. They called that the ether. They did some very clever experiments using the planet itself and took measurements when it was on one side of the sun, and then measurements when the sun was on the other side of the earth, and then were able to show that there was no difference and that there didn't seem to be an ether. And then that was the last element that they finally, not really element, but thing that from that era that they finally disproved. All matter can be divided into its tiniest piece. We've already said what it is. What is it? Please. Zoe. It's an atom, yeah. By the way, atom, coming from the Greek, cannot be split, atom. Just like if you put an A in front of many words, it means like cannot. You have a theist, someone who believes in a deity. You have an atheist, it's someone who is not. You have someone who is moral, behaves well. Amoral, someone without morals. You put an A in front, it means not, cannot be split. If you were to put this into root English, an atom would be an uncleft. Cleft meaning to split, and un meaning not. There's actually an entire program in which people are going through all the scientific terms and turning them into Old English. I don't know why, but then again, people have hobbies, and they're often strange. An atom is the smallest part of an element that can exist. Okay. Sorry, I moved too quickly. If I do move too quickly, let me know. And the reason why we say chemical means if you break an atom down further, which of course you can, even though I say you can't, you do it by nuclear methods, it no longer has the properties of that atom. If you take gold and you break it up, then you may get something that looks like nickel and something in the 40s here, rhodium. Because that's what you broke it up into. It no longer has the properties of gold. There is a way to turn lead into gold using nuclear methods. I don't think anybody's actually ever managed to do it, but if you're very clever, there's ways that you theoretically could by adding protons and taking away neutrons and see if you could flip it down for less protons. But it's not going to have the properties of lead anymore. Okay, if you go to this page, I'm going to go around the entire class. Actually, I'm just going to point at you. Your job as a class, we'll do these definitions later. I've got 5 columns here. I want you to get at least 3 examples in each column. They're different types of matter. And then we have 3 or more examples. I want you to guess the title header. This should hopefully be a review of it. So when I go around, I point at you. We're going to go around the whole class. You just have to give me an example of matter that can go on this table. And if we have over 3, you want to try and get it on one of the other sides. Go. Gold. Good one.
Wood.
Wood. Living? Dry?
Dry.
Dry wood? Okay. Yeah, okay. Oxygen.
Carbon.
Carbon. At this point, you can start guessing what titles are for that one. Water. So water would be here. Pardon? Dirt.
I don't know, like a bug.
A bug. Excellent. Pardon? A plant. Is that what you said? Plant. Zinc. Do you have a guess for what one of these columns are? Oh, no, you've already answered one. So, do you have a guess for what one of these columns are?
The one on the right, is it elements?
Elements. So we've done that one. So, no more examples from this one. You're now cut off. We want to try and get something into here. No, you're good. Next.
Is the one with water compounds?
Oh, and one. What you? I said 3, but sure, yeah. You can. I can still take examples for this one though, because I want at least 2 examples in that. What did you drink for breakfast? Pardon? Water? Oh, we already have water up. What else might you drink for breakfast? Orange juice. Oh, pulpy or non-pulpy? Non-pulpy. So that would make it OJ, no pulp. There we go.
Is the pulp at the wood and the bug, is that natural?
Is that what?
Is that like natural?
Oh, no. Well, don't ask me. Test it.
Oh.
Name something unnatural and see where I put it. Concrete. Yep, you're up.
Oh. A pencil?
A pencil.
Is the first one like solids?
Is the first? No, not a solid. But a lot of solids are in there. Yeah. So try and think of some non-solidly things to see if you can get something in here. Ooh, Jello's a good one. I hate it. You're probably thinking solidified Jello, aren't you? Yeah. I'm gonna go Jello. Oh, that's close enough. Pardon? A tree. We don't have anything. You're like car gas. You said sure. Is that actually what you meant, or are you just agreeing with everything I say? Car gas. Well done. So car gas. I'll put gasoline. Oh, there's more than one mixture up here. Which column? This one here? Nope. I mean, sure, but not the specific label. We're missing stuff from here. Yeah. Fire is it's photons and heat, so it's actually energy. It's not a form of matter.
Air, like the air we breathe.
Oh, the air we breathe. That would be perfect. Air. We need 2 more compounds. Anybody know any compounds? Pardon? Carbon dioxide. Excellent. Carbon monoxide. Never barbecue indoors. Oh, we got that? Table salt.
Carbon trioxide.
Carbon trioxide. If you were to do that, it does exist, but it's not called that. So I will say carbonate. Because that brings up an ion. Carbonate. We have nothing in here. What are some things? Now, I said OJ no pulp. Here's your hint. On this side, we would have OJ with pulp. What other things can go in here? Yep. Fruit smoothie. Who said that? Who said apple juice? Where? Is the apple juice like that? You know, you go into the store and it's like a big name brand and it looks completely clear, or is it like it's in the big jug? Somebody made it in his backyard. It's got lots of gunk in the bottom. Apple juice. Which apple juice?
The first one.
Oh, okay. So pure apple juice.
Put the other one in the colors to the left.
And then silty apple juice. Yeah.
Is that one heterogeneous mixture?
Ooh, so we're going to apply these labels. So yeah, this is heterogeneous. In fact, if we were going to say the things that are heterogeneous, that would be these two. These are heterogeneous. And I was writing helter, which doesn't make any sense. So and then that would make the ones on this side homogeneous. Hetero coming from the Greek root for different, so the parts look different. Homo from the parts looking same.
Is that a T written on the first?
Oh yeah, you can clearly see that huge T right in the middle. There we go. Yep. And we could even add in some of our differences. So heterogeneous for matter is you can see the difference. And you're allowed to use a microscope because when they made this classification system, they used a microscope. Now, where would milk belong? Here? It actually goes here. If you look at milk under a microscope, it's literally globules of fat floating around in the solution. Now, if you buy milk from the store, you would probably think it goes here because it does look all the same. If you look at the microscope, it doesn't. If you know anybody who grew up on a farm, or you know someone who's a farmer and who milks, you'll know that milk doesn't stay together. What happens if you leave raw milk? Yeah, the cream comes to the top. And so milk actually separates. There's so much fat in it, it will actually come out to the top if you let it sit. And so milk is actually this type. Does anybody have any idea what these are called? Where would, I'm going to give you some more things. Where would, let's say, wine go?
With milk.
What? With Jello, wine, sure. Where would mayonnaise go? Where? With milk. Yeah. Bleach would go here. So when you have it and it's homogeneous, but as well, these things all here, these are all mixtures. And these are pure substances, which makes this column very unusual because it's a mixture that is homogeneous and is the only one that shares those particular properties. These are known as solutions. So if you have a solution of something, you mix Kool-Aid in with water, you have a solution. This is why, for chemists, alcohol is a solution. Maybe you didn't do these ones last year, I'm not sure. This column here, this is known as a suspension. So you have solid things in a liquid, but they'll settle out or rise to the top of salsa would be a suspension. What kind of mixture is like a desk or a pencil or your binder? I mean, it's a mixture. What's it called? It is matter, but we all matter. Yep, Zane?
Is it like a desk? Is it a heterogeneous mixture?
Well, these are all heterogeneous mixtures. Suspension and...
Is it a one of those?
I'm guessing you didn't do this last year. Mechanical.
Mechanical.
Of course, that's what Zane was about to say.
Yeah, I like how you try to guess and then you just say it confidently afterwards. Well done. Yeah.
Zane was about to say.
Yeah, you guessed that. That's all good. It's all good.
I did not.
Yeah. Okay. Oop. Move on a bit too quick. So if you can have those... we didn't define those. Homogeneous, you can see the difference. Homogeneous, of course, means all looks the same. A mixture... many different substances mixed. A pure substance has one set of properties. So like if you have a big bowl of salsa and you take your chip and you put it in, you might get one with like a jalapeno on it. Hopefully lots of jalapenos, but maybe you get one with doesn't. Every time you dip, it might be slightly different. It's a mixture. Sometimes you'll get cilantro in it, which is disgusting. I don't know why anybody puts soap in their food, but apparently some people like it. Whereas if you have a big bowl of, say, water, and you start scooping that with a spoon, every single taste is going to be identical to the previous taste. If you have a big bowl of wine, you are going to be suspended because you're not allowed to have that here. But if you change it to like purified filtered orange juice, it's all going to be sugar dissolved in water, but it's completely even. No part of it is different than any other part. There and then there. Yes?
What's the last one actually say?
The last word? Here?
For pure substance.
Here?
No. For pure substance, what is it the same? I can't.
Pure. One set of properties. Yeah. Here. I'll get the computer to read that. Oh, there you go. Was that the same question for both? Okay. I may mock, but do ask me if you can't read my writing. When I was learning to become a teacher, my teacher made me stand at and then it was a chalkboard, and I had to write lines. And eventually he gave up. I have actually gotten better. There you go.
You ever thought about becoming a doctor?
Oh, yeah, I've been recommended that many times based on my writing. Yeah. Okay, anybody still need that? Anybody need me to stop? Anybody object if I go to the next page? Excellent. Review of the Bohr model. Bohr modeling. Elements are made up of how many types of atoms? Three? 3 types of atoms?
No, we don't do that.
How many types of atoms per element? 2.
How many times
One?
atoms per element?
Yeah. 1. There's just 1. Gold is made out of gold atoms. Hydrogen's made out of hydrogen atoms. If you're really clever, you can actually argue that point because there are different types of atoms for each element, but we'll do that after when we do isotopes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Missed your chance, though. What are the subatomic particles, please? Now, this is when I'm going to test you. So,
By the way, it says neutrons already on the paper.
shh. That's for people who read. You don't announce that. You would be amazed how many people don't read ahead. So give me the 3 types of subatomic particles, please. Hugo.
Electrons,
Nice.
protons, and neutrons.
Also, I should say, I do this where I call on a person. What I should be doing as well is giving the question time to sink. If I'm going too fast, let me know. I'm totally fine. Also, if someone is being asked a question, please don't answer it on their behalf. Part of the process of learning is that they have to guess it. But you are allowed to tell them. If you're like, hey, do you want to know? And they're like, yeah, well, that's okay. As long as they give the answer, I don't really mind, because then learning is still occurring. Also, if you have anxiety to the point that every time I call your name, you can't think of anything for 10 minutes after that, then let me know and I'll just take your name off of the list and we'll do it in a little different way. I know sometimes there can be things that can be a little bit stressful, and class should be the right amount of stress, like a good chess game, not like you're running from a bear. If you're running from a bear, you can't think, because then your fight or flight is like in motion. Have you ever sat down at a test and you literally almost can't even remember your name and everything's blank, but as soon as you walk out of the test, it all comes flooding back? Yeah. That's called your fight or flight response. It's actually fight, flight, or freeze. You get pumped with adrenaline. Your muscles are actually quite a bit stronger now. And you could rip that test up into 1,000 pieces probably pretty fast, or you could run really fast out of there because your body's treating it like a bear, like something very, very bad. It also inhibits memory recall, because you don't need to remember like your friends and family and all these things when you're fighting a bear. You need to use your instincts. So any fightings that you've done, you need to use that. So your memory is actually inhibited. So that's why it's vitally important to calm down during a test. That doesn't help you in any way whatsoever knowing that, but it is at least an explanation. So you go, oh, this is just the adrenaline. If you wait, the adrenaline goes away, you will find it comes flooding back. So if you're freaking out about the fact that you're freaking out and that's making the freak out worse, it'll never go away. But if you're freaking out and you realize, actually, once I stop freaking out, I won't freak out about my freaking out, because then it will stop freaking out and then I'll remember things, it might help. Well, if you're in the Army Corps of Engineers, you do tests while they're shooting live rounds over your heads, because those are the people that run at tanks to fix them. And I always find that amazing that people can actually do that under those conditions. Anyway, next one is something and something are tiny, dense spheres. So which one of those two are tiny, dense spheres, please? William Wren. Tiny and dense. So, another hint, at the center of the atom. Yeah, go ahead.
Protons and neutrons.
Nicely done. Well done. You get a point for that. Already you're tied for first place. Actually, does anybody have to do 2 points? No. So protons and neutrons are tiny and dense. We have electrons, which are diffuse clouds. They're sort of like smeared electrons.
What does it mean by smeared electrons?
You've done the Bohr model? Yeah. So, and we're going to do the Bohr model this year, because the Bohr model has amazing predictability. So we're going to put the protons here. We're going to put the neutrons there. You're going to draw a circle. You probably did this last year. And then you put like 2 electrons on the outside, right? And you did that. And then you put like other electrons and you go like this.
Yeah.
By the way, stop doing this. Just do it like this. Or whatever you want to do. Actually, let's make that 8 and then we'll make it +2. These just indicate it could go around. But in actual fact, these 2 electrons don't orbit like planets around the sun. They are a sphere that covers the entire atom. So it's a probability, and they exist as a wave, so they actually smear it. These ones look like this. And then if you have ones further along, a single electron will look like, let's do it in yellow, a butterfly. That's not 4 electrons. That's one single electron smeared over that entire area. And we do that a little bit in Chem 11, quantum chemistry, and it explains a little bit, if you have a carbon and it has like the electrons smeared this way, then these are bonding points, and that's why they'll have a particular way that they're oriented in space, trigonal planar or a pyramid shape or whatever shape they have. That particular explains it. But we do Bohr model. And, oh, I picked a noble gas that actually wouldn't do anything. The reason we do Bohr, let's make it 11 protons and 7 electrons. We're doing Bohr model because how many electrons fit in that shell? 8. So how many electrons does it need? 1. So if you give it 1, it now has a -1 charge, and now it's done some chemistry. And it's wonderful for that kind of predicting power. So the grade 10 level, it's perfect. That means the chemical. Excellent. Thank you very much. Just a heads up that each and every class may begin with a brief 5-minute quiz on the stuff we did the previous day. Just a random fact you may want to know.
I want to know.
Did everybody hear that announcement? Excellent, excellent. So there's no homework other than the knowledge that a brief 5-minute quiz may begin each and every class.
We don't need to finish that page.
Don't forget it next day. I've got a demo coming up that hopefully we're going to do next day as well. See you. Enjoy your next class.
There we go. You did not study for